She's from the Bronx. She has some love for New York, and she studied at Brooklyn College. Her career spans recruitment, finance, and media relationships. She's been a technical specialist and a media analyst. I love that she put this in her introduction. She makes time to give by participating in mentoring programs such as Here to Help. Without further ado, I'll pass the mic to Crystal.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you so much to everybody at Latinas in Tech, Techqueria, and to Lyft for sponsoring this amazing event. Really happy to be here and to meet everybody. Hello, my name is Crystal Rose Harrison Davis, and I'm originally from the Bronx, New York, as Gabriela said. I am an Afro-Latina. I am Afro-Brazilian, Cuban, and Puerto Rican. And so I am, as a lot of my friends would say, a mouthful. It's a mix, so it's totally fine. I have been working in the tech industry for well over 10 years. I am the first in my family in tech. A lot of my family mainly focuses on healing. They're in nursing or some sort of paramedic or accounting, all teaching. There's all over the place when it comes to the career paths. However, I'm the first in the tech industry. One thing that is very common in my family is we all have the need to help. All of our careers, no matter what it is we're doing, all of our goals have always been to help. So like a lot of my peers, I do not have the traditional route for education of going to immediately to college, then going immediately to get your master's and then the PhD, etc. I did start out that way. And then of course life happens. Had to take care of family members. So I did attend Brooklyn College. I got my associate's degree. And then unfortunately I could not continue to get my bachelor's. So I kept working. I started out as an admin. I figured, okay, let's start somewhere. My first job was at a law firm as administrative assistant. I moved my way up to the lead legal secretary. 9/11 happened, and I said, okay, I got to get out of there because it was right down in the middle of the where everything happened. And I started looking for work at other companies while also trying to apply for schools, figuring, well, we'll see what happens. I actually went for an interview at one company, and while I was in the elevator riding up to that company, I met a woman at a small tech company, and we started chatting, and she said, oh, you're here for an interview? Why don't you come downstairs after you're done and chat with me? Turns out they had a position open for administrative assistant slash HR admin slash HR assistant manager, because they were a very small company called Aegis. And they not only created software, but they staffed as well. So they were also a recruiting firm. So that's how I got my foot in the door with both tech and recruiting. So I'm the first in recruiting and the first in technology in my family. I started out doing admin work, then HR work. Next thing you know, I'm recruiting, starting to staff people in roles for anything from product management to engineering, C#, C++, all those technical languages, and I started learning more and more about them. A few years after I joined, who comes knocking at the door but Yahoo? They saw my recruiting skills and they called me over, and I started recruiting for them. And about a year into recruiting, I got asked by one of the tech leads on the hot job side, oh, hey, why don't you guys use our hot jobs platform? Why aren't you using the platform? And I kind of had no chill. I just told them flat out, it sucks, and here's why. It wasn't because the platform itself sucked. It in no way sucked. It just was not easy for the roles that we were looking for at the time to use. And so one of the directors said, hey, put your money where your mouth is. Do you want to come work on our support side? Do you want to help us build this out better? Do you want to help us design something better? And I said, yeah, sure. So I started working full-time on the Hot Jobs platform and helping to create customer relationship systems, management systems, also stopping fraud. That was another thing that was really cool. So I switched over from the recruiting side back to a technical support role. A couple of years later, I came out to visit California, just on a visit, and I said, oh, wow, this is awesome. I love it here, and I'm going to move here someday. definitely did not realize that I was speaking that into life, because I lost my job at Yahoo because they sold our property. But another door opened almost immediately afterward. I started working at Bloomberg, which brought me over into finance, also doing technical, but also media. And this was a whole new opportunity. Now, mind you, I don't have, again, at this point, a bachelor's, but I'm getting into these roles because of my experience and my willingness to learn. I'm a fast learner, and I take direction really well. However, I'm also good at providing feedback whenever possible to new ideas, new thoughts on things looking different than probably the typical I went this route sort of way. I spent 5 years at Bloomberg working across 3 different teams, from our technical support, helping to build their website support, and magazine support. So if you've ever looked at the Bloomberg Markets magazine or Business Week, that was probably my team that made sure that that got to the stands and made sure that the media was corresponding with the website simultaneously. I Towards the end of that time, I moved to California. And so I've been in California for about 6 years. I'm now based in the Bay Area. And it just so happens that I saw a sign for a company while I was on the train commuting to the city, and it was called JobVite. And this company, it turns out, was head by my former general manager at Hot Jobs. And so I applied, and now I'm working with my former general manager, who's now the CEO of this tech recruiting company. So here I am back in recruiting and back in tech again. I stayed there for about 3 years, helping to build their relationships with a lot of different customers across globally. So that was extremely fulfilling and really amazing. The people that I met, the connections I made. And a few years later, Facebook came a calling because I had that experience they were looking for to help build out their recruiting support at Facebook. And so I spent a year doing that before transitioning over to our media partnerships and helping to build out some of the processes we do to support our media partners and build out solutions that help support our internal teams. And so even though I never imagined starting out at where I was, coming into this role or being at this place, if you had asked me back then, back in time, could you see yourself at this big company, this giant institution, I would have said, I don't know what you're talking about. I had this mindset of, I'm going to go and get my degree in admin, and then I'm going to go and maybe do some teaching, and I don't know, who knows what I'm going to do. And now I'm in tech. I'm helping to build software and build apps and platforms that help people connect and grow. And it's amazing. I love what I do. And as Gabriela mentioned, I do make time to give back as mentor whenever possible. Just shameless plug, a friend of mine started this program called Here to Help. It's on Instagram, and it's very small, but it's growing. People are coming on board every day to help each other, especially in these hard times where people are looking for work. I feel it's very important for us as Latinos to connect with one another, to communicate, and to network. Please don't be afraid to reach out. Just because you're an introvert, you're an extrovert, doesn't matter. There's somewhere for you in tech. There's somewhere for you in this world, and you belong here. Doesn't matter what your degree path looks like, doesn't matter what your career ambitions are, you belong here. So I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I am super glad and grateful to be here and to meet every single one of you. And I'm here if you have questions, please connect with me on my socials.
Thanks so much, Crystal. Feel free to check out all the love that you got for your talk in the chat.